Ram Ram Sa, Padharo Mare Des, Khamma Ghadi. This is hi, hello in Rajasthani, right? Here I am with another set of 15 question answers for Rajasthan set. तो मैंने बोला आज hi, hello थोड़े अलग तरीके से किया जाए, right? Now, let me tell you, if you do not score well, if you don't know the answers, please do not get disheartened. Our aim here is to help you with the little explanations that we give you with each answer. Believe me, your confidence, it builds up. Now, if you want detailed explanation of all entire English literature, you can contact Tess on the number 93878 39871. And otherwise, our channel, Wallet's Test by Kalyani Wallet, that has awesome resource to help you with all the prestigious English literature exams. Okay, so let's begin today's question answers. Question number 1. Gray's Progress of Poesy is an example of option A, Horatian Ode, B, Pindaric Ode, C, Irregular Ode, or D, Regular Ode. Gray's Progress of Poesy, इसका तो पूरा टाइटल ही ये है, A Pindaric Ode. Gray's The Progress of Poesy, a Pindaric Ode. It was written from 1751 to 1754, in between these years. Okay, so the answer is B. Now, Thomas Gray, you know him, was an English poet and a letter writer who lived from 1716 to 1771. Ode के बारे में कुछ बताऊं तो, in the olden days, ode was a short poem which was accompanied by dance and music. But आज के टाइम में ode क्या है? We consider it as an address to an absent person or thing. So when I'm talking to a person or a thing who is not in front of me, I can call it as an ode. Okay. Now, odes are actually of 3 types. You know it. There are Horatian, Pindaric, and irregular. Today, we'll talk about Pindaric odes. They get their name from Pindar of Greece, who was the innovator of this. Now, Pindaric ode is actually dramatical, theatrical, and it is accompanied by music and dance. It is further divided into 3 parts: strophe, antistrophe, and epode. अब बताऊं strophe क्या होता है? Chorus जो है, when it moves from right to left, this is my right, so right to left, मैं chorus हूं, तो ये हो गया strophe. Now when chorus moves from left to right, ये हो गया antistrophe. And finally जो conclusion होता है, that is epode. तो अगर अपन देखें तो in strophe argument is put forward. In antistrophe, this argument is explored, while in epode, there is a conclusion. You got it? Yes, you did. Question number 2. The doctrine of empiricism is best described by which of the following? Empiricism. What is it? Option A, there is no God. Option B, all sensory experiences are illusory. Option C, all knowledge is derived from experience. Or option D, political power influences human perceptions. What does empiricism say? It says that all knowledge is derived from experience. So, experience is the only source of knowledge. अब अपन क्यों बोलते हैं? Let me tell you, experience actually is taken from a Greek word called as imperia. Okay, imperia. So empiricism is taken from a Greek word imperia, which in English means experience, one and the same thing, right? Let's move on. Question number 3. The distinction between tenor and vehicle was formulated by, tenor and vehicle's distinction was given by, your options are A, Geoffrey Leach, B, F.R. Lewis, C, William Emerson, or D, I.A. Richards. You know it. It is option D, I.A. Richards. Look at him, the young Richards, the old Richard. Yes, Richard, you know, he was an English literary critic, lived from 1893 to 1979. Should I tell you a little bit about tenor and vehicle? Banta hai. Now see, whenever we use a figurative language, let's say metaphor, we describe one thing by relating it to another thing. Here is where tenor and vehicle come. So, what does I.A. Richards say? He says that tenor is the thing that we describe. The thing that we describe, the idea which is expressed is tenor. Whereas what the figurative language which is used to describe it, the figurative language used to describe the tenor is called vehicle. I'll give you an example to make it super easy. Take this sentence. America is a melting pot of cultures. Here we are speaking about America idea. So tenor is America, while the figurative language used is melting pot of cultures. Ye kya ho gaya? Vehicle. Easy? Yes, it is. Let's move on to question number 4. Home is where we have to gather grace is the last line of Ezekiel's. Option A, the Knight of the Scorpion. B, Enterprise. C, Poet, Lover, and Bird Watcher. Or D, Background, Casually. ये last line किसकी है? Home is where we have to gather grace. It is from Enterprise. Enterprise is a poem by Ezekiel. Look here at him. He lived from 1924 to 2004, an Indian Jewish poet. अब Enterprise के बारे में बात करें. It's a metaphorical journey of poet, which means Nissim, along with another few people who are very enthusiastic to take this journey. Okay. Now, this journey of theirs is actually compared with the human condition on earth, which is full of difficulties and failures. So after a long time, when their journey is completed, none of the pilgrims is enthusiastic. They all are so exhausted. And finally, they say this home is where we have to gather grace. Okay? You got it? Yes, you did. Question number 5. The Golden Gate is a option A, verse novel, B, an epic, C, a novel, or D, a lyric. The Golden Gate by Vikram Seth is option A, a verse novel. It is the first novel by Vikram Seth, who, born in 1952, is an Indian poet and novelist. अब आप जानते हैं verse novel क्या होता है? It is a type of narrative poetry in which novel-length narrative is told through the medium of poetry rather than prose. मतलब बड़ा होगा novel जितना, लेकिन जो language है that will be of poetry and not of prose. Okay. Abhi, let's talk about the Golden Gate. It is set in the year 1980. Okay. Golden Gate follows a group of yuppies in San Francisco. अब आप बोलेंगे ये yuppie क्या होता है मैम? Yuppie. Yuppie is the short form of young urban professional or young upwardly mobile professional. Okay. और इस work का Golden Gate का protagonist है John Brown. You should know the names of the characters also now. Now, okay, let's move on to question number 6. Here it is, Vikram Seth. Hello, sir. How are you today? Let's move on to question number 6. Baby Kochamma is a character in the novel. Option A, the god of small things. B, Samskara. C, rich like us. Or D, untouchable. नाम है बेबी पर ये बेबी नहीं है, ये तो बहुत बड़ी है जी, दादी जी है ये. Baby Kochama is from the God of Small Things by, of course, Arundhati Roy, winner of the Booker Prize. The God of Small Things was published in the year 1997. Okay. Now this work is a fictional family drama which is set in Kerala, a town in Kerala called as M&M. M&M in Kerala. It tells us about 2 years. The story shifts between 2 different years, 1969 and 1993. Now, who is baby Kochamma? She is actually an aunt to the twins Rahel and Estha. You should know the names of these twins क्योंकि काफी बार हो सकता है the twins Rahel and Estha come in the God of Small Things. Okay. Now, a little bit about baby Kochamma. She is a jealous old woman. She is spiteful, destructive, and materialistic. Okay, negative character hai ye, the God of Small Things ki. Let's move on to question number 7. Choose the options that would fit into the blanks. Abhi, I'll read this. I'll directly give you the answer, right? Aap padhiye, options ye hai. Let's move on to the answer, no? It'll be good for you. The answer is option D. तो आप पढ़ते हैं. Man for the field and woman for the hearth. Hearth matlab home. Man for the sword and for the dash she. इधर dash में होगा needle, right? Man के लिए sword, woman के लिए needle. Man with the head and woman with the heart. And last, man to command and woman to obey. तो आंसर हो गया heart, needle, heart, obey. ये lines कहाँ से ली गई है? Well, they have been taken from The Princes, which is a serio-comic blank verse narrative poem written by Alfred Tennyson. अभी बताइए, Alfred Tennyson was the poet laureate from which year to which year? 1850 to 1892, right? And these lines are uttered as an advice by the father to the prince that, man ka darja woman se uncha hai. That's what he meant to say. Okay, we don't quite agree, right? We all are equal. Let's move on to question number 8. What was the name of the group of intellectual women who established literary clubs under the leadership of Elizabeth Vesey and Elizabeth Montagu? Your options are A, the Behnites, B, the Bluestockings, C, the Pre-Raphaelites, or D, the Tattlers. Elizabeth Vesey and Elizabeth Montagu helped establish what? You know it. It is option B, the Bluestockings. Abhi Vesey ke baare mein baat kare to she was a wealthy Irish intellectual, lived in the 18th century. She fostered the Bluestockings, which was a society which hosted literary and political discussions. Of course, she was also a part of it. And then about Montagu, well, Montagu was a British social reformer who also lived in the 18th century, and she organized the Bluestocking Society. But both of them are connected with this society, right? Let's move on to question number 9. Who said of Milton's Lycidas that the diction is harsh, the rhymes uncertain, and the numbers unpleasing? मतलब किसने criticize किया है मिल्टन के Lycidas को? Your options are A. C.S. Lewis, B. William Wordsworth, C. Samuel Johnson, or D. Charles Lamb. You know him. It is option C, Samuel Johnson. In which work of his? It is on the screen. The Lives of the Poets, published in the year 1781. अभी देखो Lives of the Poets में ना Samuel Johnson ने क्या किया? He critically analyzed 50 poets. Okay. Now, few fun facts. All these poets were male. None of them was a female. And another thing, all of them were dead. So by 1781, when this work was published, all these writers, all these 50 writers who were critically analyzed were gone. Okay, let's move on. Question number 10. Which notorious critic of Shakespeare said that his plays were trivial and positively bad? And what was the title of that work or essay? ठीक है, किसने बोला शेक्सपियर के लिए that his plays are trivial, positively bad, और कौन से work में बोला? Your options are A. Leo Tolstoy in On Shakespeare and Drama. Option B. George Bernard Shaw in Saturday Review. C. J.R.R. Tolkien in Letters. Or option D. Thomas de Quincey in On the Knocking at the Gate in Macbeth. But this is a tough question. क्यों? Because इन सबने critically Shakespeare को analyze किया है. In fact, Leo Tolstoy, George Bernard Shaw, Tolkien, they all disliked Shakespeare. तो अब ये line तो आपको पता होनी चाहिए. The answer is option A, Leo Tolstoy. Okay. अभी Leo Tolstoy का On Shakespeare and Drama was published in 1906. Look at him on the screen. नाम है अमरीकी लेकिन थे ये रूसी क्योंकि इनका रियल नेम लियो नहीं है. His real name was Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. अभी वो Nikolaevich आ गया तो अपन को पता चल गया that he's a Russian. So he was a Russian writer who lived from 1828 to 1910. Now Tolstoy said for Shakespeare that his works are, he's an insignificant and inartistic writer who was not only not moral but immoral. Not only not moral, but immoral. What line is that, sir? Okay, let's move on. Question number 11. The most striking aspect of linguistic competence is what we may call the creativity of language, that the speaker's ability to produce new sentences. This is a quote by dash, who here is talking about the dash of human language. Bataiye, who said this about linguistic competence, the creativity of language? Option A, T.S. Eliot, creative expressiveness. B, Noam Chomsky said generative capacity. C is William Emerson said ambiguities. Or D is Jean Baudelaire, simulative. Who is it? Well, it is option B, Noam Chomsky. Abhi dekho, Noam Chomsky ne, he is an American, we know it, and he's the father of modern linguistics. What is generative capacity? It's a theory of grammar which was given by Noam himself in the year 1950s, in which he said that all humans have an innate language capacity. This innate language capacity helps the speaker to produce new sentences, helps them to have creativity of language. So the answer is Noam Chomsky with generative capacity. Okay, let's move on to question number 12. Who said that there is nothing outside of the text? The options are A, Jacques Derrida, B, Roland Barthes, C, Clent Brooks, or D, William Emerson. There is nothing outside of the text is said by Jacques Derrida, option A. Well, actually, see, Derrida wrote this in French. So French में he wrote this line, मैंने नीचे लिखी है, Il n'a pas de horse text. अभी जिसको French आती है, please you speak properly. And excuse me for my bad French speaking. But then if you literally, convert it into English, it is not, there is nothing outside of the text. It actually is, there is no outside text. There is no outside text. And what is outside text? It is that extra supplement, provided by the author for some clarity. जैसे reader पढ़ता है तो अपन को एक supplement book मिलती है ना, so that we can have a clarity. So there is no outside text, which means you don't have an extra supplement. You don't have any clarity for shedding light on the work. So Derrida says that the meaning of any text is not fixed, obviously, and what is presented as a closed system is not a closed system. It is an open system, because we as readers have to understand the history and the context of the text for the better understanding, right? And here is Derrida on the screen, an Algerian-born French philosopher who lived from 1930 to 2004. And you know it, he gave us deconstruction, right? Let's move on to question number 13. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak introduced a major concept in postcolonial theory through which minority groups, nationalities mobilize themselves on the basis of shared gender, cultural, or political identity. What is it? Bada question hai, but it is not tough. What are they saying? Gayatri has given a concept in postcolonial theory in which few groups, they have different nationalities, but they come together because of some shared gender, cultural, political identity. What is it? Your options are A, Orientalism. No, no, no. B, alterity. No. C, subalternism. No. And option D, strategic essentialism. So yehi ho gaya correct answer. Look at Spivak. She is born in 1942 and she's an Indian literary theorist and a feminist critic. अभी strategic essentialism का मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब यही है when minority groups and nationalities mobilize themselves on the basis of shared gender, cultural, political identity. But the members of this group have a lot of differences among them. They have a lot of arguments and debates. But the advantage of them coming forward together is they achieve many goals. For example, they get equal rights, anti-globalization, etc. Okay? Let's move on to question number 14. All liberal feminists advocate. Your options are A, equal treatment in the public sphere. B, the strict segregation of the sexes. C, discrimination in economic terms only. Or D, no role in political matters. Liberal feminists क्या advocate करती हैं? They always advocate what? Gender equality. तो क्या आंसर होगा? A, equal treatment in the public sphere. I mean, liberal feminists are also called as mainstream feminists, okay? And they actually focus on achieving gender equality through political and legal reforms. Now, some famous liberal feminists are Mary Wollstonecraft, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Simone de Beauvoir, and Rebecca Walker. Okay, आगे बढ़े. Question number 15 and the last question of the day. Which among the following is a common convention of postmodern writing? Your options are A, straightforward plots and realistic situations. No. B, clear and obvious meanings. No. C, a respect for previous styles and conventions. No. Or option D, metafiction and intertextuality. So the answer is option B. Abhi, what is metafiction? It is a fiction in which author self-consciously alludes to the artificiality of a work by departing from ट्रेडिशनल नैरेटिव टेक्निक. मतलब जो ट्रेडिशनल नैरेटिव टेक्निक्स होती है उसको ऑथर छोड़ देता है, त्याग देता है. ठीक है. अभी इजीएस्ट एग्जांपल क्या है? ट्रिस्ट्रम शैंडी बाय लॉरेंस स्टर्न. And intertextuality देखें तो it is shaping of one text meaning by another text. For example, Ulysses by James Joyce is a retelling of Homer's Odyssey. So it is an example of intertextuality. And this is what postmodern writing had: metafiction and intertextuality. And what do we have? Confidence and lot of hope, right? That we will be successful. Now, I told you that in these sessions, I give little explanations, but then we have so much at TES to help you with English literature. For example, we have live classes in which Kalyani ma'am gives you live online classes, and it is in depth, okay? It is detailed. The second are recorded lectures, okay? Recorded lectures, you will get recorded lectures of Kalyani ma'am. You can listen to them at your own ease. Of course, live will be given to you, and you can listen to them whenever you want. They are with you for lifetime. So the live classes come at the cost of 10,000 rupees, while recorded lectures come for 4,000 rupees. Other than this, we have PDF notes, we have online quizzes. There's a lot. And in fact, Bodhi Tree publication has so many books. Someday I feel I should really do a video of the books which Bodhi Tree publication has. Editor-in-Chief R. Kalyani ma'am, right? Chaliye, this is what I had to do today. Let's see you again tomorrow with another 15 questions to help you with Rajasthan set. Bye-bye, take care, and do subscribe to our channel.